OnlyFans model Sophie Rain, right, who has reportedly made over $100 million of her lifetime on that platform, she is now here talking to Pierce Morgan about the tax that Florida wants to impose on OnlyFans models, right? They want to impose a 50% tax to these girls, and she's up here upset about it, etc., etc. So we're going to be reacting to what she has to say in this whole ordeal with Florida wanting to tax OnlyFans models. So let's jump into the video.
Well, I post on many platforms. I post content on Instagram. I post content on TikTok and all the above. And I also post content on OnlyFans. And honestly, I do a little bit of everything. I do.
And by the way, bro, making $100 million, and I believe it was over the course of 2 years, bro. Bro, that's so much fucking money, bro. Like in 2 years, 100. Imagine your life. Imagine you live in a normal apartment. You probably don't even have a car, or if you do have a car, you have like a shitty ass car, and then now your life just changing in like 2 years to where now you have 100 million fucking bro. Like that is insane, dog.
Little dancing TikTok videos. I'll post Instagram photos, and then obviously my OnlyFans content.
And would you describe it as pornographic, or what would you describe it as?
I mean, I wouldn't describe it as pornographic, but it's definitely adult content for sure.
Then it's okay. I don't know what she's doing on OnlyFans, right? Porn is, seeing a man's pee being inserted into a woman's, cooch, right? That's porn. Adult content can be, a woman being topless, or, showing her, I can't say that word, I have to bleep that out, or showing her cooch on the internet. That is adult content, right? So yes, it is different. I don't know what she does on OnlyFans, if she's, doing the deed on camera or not, but there is a difference.
So what do you feel about James Fishback and his plan to tax you 50% as a sin tax for being a sinner?
I mean, I'm going to be honest, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Florida already has no income state tax. It doesn't exist. So it seems very...
Bro, I love Florida. I just had to get that out there. I love Florida.
Selective, and it seems like it's a punishment.
James, are you there, James? Yeah, you are. I mean, Sophie says that that she feels like this is a punishment. Why are you punishing her?
Well, hey, Sophie, good to meet you. It's not a punishment at all. What it is a deterrent. I think Sophie recognizes that our state was better off when young women aspired to be teachers, small business owners, doctors, and lawyers, as opposed to creating adult content. I can respect Sophie Rain as an individual and still respectfully call out that I don't want thousands of young women who are in high school today.
That is true.
Like the only way they can make a living when they graduate is selling adult content, video, photos of themselves on the internet.
That is true. And also bear in mind, Florida is one of those states. I think Florida has the most concentration of OnlyFans girls, with Miami being the #1 city within Florida that has the go to Miami and there'll be an endless supply of OnlyFans girls, bro. It's crazy, right? So Florida is one of those states that have like a huge concentration on it. So this is why he would want to crack down on it, because he's realizing, the imploding of how much girls in Florida that want to go into this life. So, what the hell? The fuck off of my screen, bro.
Look, with all due respect, I know you're from Florida. I'm from Florida. We both love our state. I want what's best for you, and I want what's best for every single woman in our state, and that's not to be objectified and exploited by the OnlyFans owners.
Sophie, what's your response to that?
I feel like as adults, we are all able to legally make our own decisions.
That is also true.
That we should also educate a lot more on all of these opportunities that you're speaking of, because I just don't think that we should be singling out any individual for what they choose to do.
James?
Well, I want to single out drug dealers, Sophie. I want to single out people who are committing crimes in our society. And so as governor, my responsibility is very simple. I want to make sure that there is a path. I'm not going to be one of those
But
Republicans
she's not
who's going
committing
to
any
attack
crime.
women.
And it seems to me that you're...
Right, but this is the thing, right? And I completely understand where this guy's coming from. Yes, rule out these different things that are within, the state of Florida, etc., right? But when you look at the salary of, for example, he mentioned a profession earlier, he mentioned teachers, right? When you look at the salary of teachers, brother, it makes complete sense why nobody would want to be a teacher, why no one is trying to, is looking forward to being in these different professions anymore. Right. And again, I'm not picking up for Sophie Rain, right? The young girl should not be getting into this field, right? Because you're a young ass girl, bro. That you should be focusing on different things. This should be the last thing. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't be on your mind at all. However, what I'm trying to say is, if it is that we want to encourage younger people to go into these different fields, we need to raise the income level of these said fields. Because you can't be saying that, oh, we need more teachers, we need more, plumbers, we need more plumbers make great money, by the way, but I'm just saying we need people in these different fields, but these different fields don't pay as much. We are literally seeing an epidemic right now where a lot of teachers are leaving their jobs because they're realizing that, one, you can't fucking teach these kids anything because they're so rude and disrespectful, so that when you go to tell their parents that, hey, your son or your daughter was being disrespectful in class, disturbing the classroom, the parents want to get onto the teacher and curse off the teacher, right? And then now the teacher is, in that scenario where she's thinking that, okay, cool, I'm dealing with one, shit from this child, and then shit from his parents, and then I'm only being paid a small amount of salary per fucking year, bro. Fuck this. You know what I mean? So if we want to encourage younger girls into going into these different fields, we have to raise the income level, bro. We have to. Because the only reason why these women are going into, I feel like, OnlyFans is because it pays a lot of money if you know how to market yourself effectively.
Assertions before we spoke to Sophie that she was, that people like her on OnlyFans are enslaved, they're being exploited, and then you do an analogy just now to drugs and whatever, which are illegal, obviously. Nothing she's doing is illegal. It seems to be entirely of her own free will. She's very happy doing it. She's very popular doing it. Under the First Amendment...
Well, have you asked her that, Piers? Have you asked her if she's happy?
Under the First Amendment of the US Constitution, what business is it of yours to stick your oar in and want 50% of her cash?
No. Piers, did you ask her if she was happy? Because she posted a video 2 weeks ago on International Women's Day where she was interviewing her former self, who looked to be disappointed, who aspired to be, quite literally, in Sophie Rain's own words.
And of course she would be.
Sophie, you are smart. I know you. I know your family. You are capable of anything you put your mind to. And so when you're doing this little cute Spider-Man dance online and you're creating this adult content, know that that person that you used to be still wants something more out of you. And I, as the governor of the state, want every single woman in Florida to achieve their maximum potential.
Sophie?
I mean, I think just realistically speaking, I'm very happy with where I am, and I promise I would have never got to where I am without the platform. Like, I've built businesses outside of this. I am constantly, chasing new dreams and everything. Like, I'm very happy with where I am.
Yeah, Sophie, you come from a devout Christian family, I understand. You grew up, by your own admission, pretty poor. The family didn't have much money, relied on food stamps.
Bro, wasn't this girl at a young age around very famous, what's that one guy from Drake and Josh? Wasn't she around these type of people when she was younger?
What's your name?
Sophie.
Sophie, nice to meet you. You just lost a tooth. How's that?
Jonah ate it.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
A doctor and an astronaut.
Oh my god, that is so precious.
Space doctor.
Oh. I've never actually heard anybody say they want to be an astronaut. Because, obviously it never works, that's why. But like...
An astronaut, that's cute, and I want to be famous.
What the... This entire, I came from a poor family trope, bro. This girl was around heavy influence influencers when she was younger. Like, so I don't know, man.
As a child, you were working as a waitress. You then went on OnlyFans. You said you got fired from your restaurant job and your boss discovered the account and so on. And now obviously you've become incredibly successful and rich doing this. What do your family make of your transition into this world?
They're actually very supportive of me. Definitely at first, they didn't really understand it and they were cautious of it. But I sat them down and I talked them through everything. I'm being safe. I'm doing everything legal. Like I'm good, and they're very supportive of where I am.
Are you genuinely happy?
I am. I would have never. I own my own house. I like who at 21.
And that's the thing too, as well, bro. Like, okay, logically, we as men, we will be. Okay, and again, this is a young woman. Her stance on this will change once she gets older, when she realizes that, you know, when she wants to start a family, she can't find the guy that she wants to find to marry because he doesn't want to deal with any type of embarrassment that comes from dealing with a woman like Sophie Rain. And let's say that she does find a partner, right? And now she has children. She will now have to deal with her child being, you know, teased and bullied through high school. For the majority of time that kid is alive, she will have to deal with that child's emotions, because guess what? People are going to tease them because, hey, your mom is a, you know, a OF, you know what. So she is saying that she's happy now because, you know, she has the house that she owns, all the money, all the cars, the trips, the expensive, you know, handbags, all that shit. So she's looking at it from a young person's point of view. But when she gets older and she wants to settle down and have a family, she's going to start thinking about things like this. And case in point, let's take a look at Lana Rhoades. Bro, when Lana Rhoades was in her prime, you think she gave a solitary fuck about, you know, the implications that this may have on her in the future? No, she did not care, right? But now she cares because, you know, she has a baby father that they're not married, right? And the baby father is catching, you know, flack for, why did you get this fucking P-Hub girl pregnant, right? And then now her child is going to be born, and that, oh my god, bro, I can't, bro. The amount of money that someone like Lana Rhoades is going to have to spend on therapy sessions for that child is insane. And that's one of the reasons for why she is trying her hardest to hide the identity of the child. But again, Lana Rhoades lives in California, and the California streets, bro, they talk. If it's anything about California streets, bro, like they talk, like word gets around very fucking fast. So sooner or later, people are going to know who that child is, right? So I hope that she has money lined up for that therapy sessions, because that child is going to fucking need it, right? So back to the case of Sophie Rain, she is saying this now because she's, you know, young, she's still, you know, very attractive young woman, and she's still in her prime. So she's saying this right now, but in the future, her mentality is going to change. So
one can say that. Like, this has gave me so much autonomy over my life, and I'm just so grateful for the platform, because I wouldn't have been here, especially in today's economy.
Right, I mean, James Fishback, you know, I'm thinking like of, say, the Kardashians, people like that, right? They're always stripping off, and they're making millions, billions, actually, as a family, from their bodies predominantly. They don't have any other discernible real talent. It's just stripping off and being, you know, in the media, and it's been very successful.
But the Kardashians are like a completely different group of women, bro. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, the Kardashians are one of those, you know, groups of women that I have seen to be able to successfully pull it off, like be a complete 304, and then end up with a successful man that, you know, makes just as much or even more than them. The Kardashians are the only group of women that I've seen able to pull that off. And again, we cannot be based our realities off of anomalies, right? We can't be basing our realities off of, you know, those one-hit wonders.
All syntax apply to them.
I said anomaly. Jesus.
Syntax applies to adult content on the internet, whether it's OnlyFans or any other platform. Peers, let me just ask Sophie a question. Sophie, if the number of women doing OnlyFans tripled in Florida tomorrow, would that be a good or a bad thing?
That would be a bad thing.
I think honestly, it would be a great thing. A lot of women are trying to find different ways to make more income in a
Nah, you see, because once it triples in Florida, what you think is gonna happen to the other states, especially fucking never places like Vegas and stuff like. What do you think is going to happen to those other places once they see that, yo, a lot of these girls in Florida are making bank off of OnlyFans? I want to do it too. So it's going to start from Florida and then affect the entirety of the United States, right? So it's not a good thing.
heavily damaged economy. So I think that there should be those opportunities out there for these women to make an income.
Do you hear,
Sophie,
let me ask Sophie
but
a follow-up
Sophie and
on
I
that.
both agree. We both agree that the economy is badly damaged. I proudly voted for President Trump, Pierce, in 2024,
And look where that has fucking led us to. Look where voting for President Trump fucking led us to. What, bro? That nigga has worsened the economy, right? But again, MAGA and right wingers don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that, but it's fine. Right, because you let this man, you know what? I'm not even gonna get into the whole Donald Trump thing because this is not this video, but I'm just saying.
Tell you that I am not proud of the work that he has done. We are not living in a golden age whatsoever. People in my state are struggling under the weight of this affordability crisis, and Sophie,
the farmers are struggling.
Eye to eye that this economy is hurting a lot.
The
of people.
oil prices are up.
Where we disagree is that the economy hurts people, and Sophie Rain wants to say, let's get them to join OnlyFans. And what I say is, let's get new job training, especially for women. Let's create new pathways, new opportunities at our public universities, career technical school. Let's create.
Right, but this is the thing, because he is talking a good talk right now, but let's be realist about this, right? Let's be real. You have these companies out there, right? These billion-dollar corporations, right? For example, an Amazon, right? Now, Amazon workers, depending on what, position that you work in, they do make a good amount of money. But the majority of people, who are in the factories working for Amazon, they don't really make, a good amount of money, right? For them to be able to, have savings and invest and stuff like that. So he's talking a good talk where we're saying that we need to implement programs and shit like that. But if these billionaires that own these corporations don't want to give their employees a great fucking wage, because the prices of everything is going up through the roof, but the salaries are staying the same. And if these billionaires don't want to, stop hoarding all of that wealth for themselves, bro, all of this is just fucking talk. Because yes, you can create these different programs for these people to enlist themselves in, but if the salary is still the same, if people can't afford a good life, they are going to turn to these things, right? So now we have to start looking at, okay, cool, let's turn to these billionaires that are, hog tying all of this fucking wealth. Let's turn to these people and say, listen, bro, there is no man on the face of this fucking earth should be worth 700 billion fucking dollars, bro. I'm sorry. I know that's gonna piss off a lot of Elon Musk fans, but it's just the truth. No man should be worth that. That's almost $1 trillion fucking dollars for one man. No man should be worth that amount of money, right? So we need to start going to these billionaires saying that, guys, listen, stop hog tying all this money. Right, we want the economy to be better. We want people to have better lives, so start raising the wages of your workers, right? But again, we don't want to look at stuff like that. We want to talk about implementing programs. What the fuck is a program going to do if the wages are going to stay the same? And this is the reason for why women are going into these fields, because the wages are the same. And not to mention, bro, the competitiveness in the job market right now, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, we don't even want to talk about like how competitive the job market is right now, right? So this is why women go down into these different paths.
A statewide internship program for anyone under the age of 25 to get a great paying job that will teach them new skills in the 21st century. So Sophie, you and I see eye to eye. Where we, I think, disagree is the solution. When you say that tripling the number of OnlyFans creators is a good thing, that speaks to the damage of the economy. What I want to do is create a real economy that allows people like those women to do something dignified.
Or you're missing,
doesn't
maybe you're
allow them-
missing. Yeah, but James, I mean, you keep talking for Sophie. I've noticed, right? I think you should let her speak for herself, not least because she's worth 40.
Bro, Pierce is such a fucking good. Bro,
the
Pierce
point
is
I would
good at
make is,
what he
What
does.
about, you know, the
I love
argument that
Pierce, bro.
women are empowered to make their own decisions about their own bodies, their own choices, their own careers?
So let me ask you a question, Piers. If a woman is empowered to make their own decision about their own body, and a woman struggles to pay the rent, do we then encourage that woman to sell one of her kidneys to pay the rent and say it was her own
No,
decision?
no.
She's not
What
so-
we do, we go again. We turn to the billionaires, saying that, yo, listen, bro. There's no need for you to be worth $700 fucking billion, 600, 400, 300 billion dollars. Like, nah, gang. Like, why is your work the average salary for your workers, $36,000 a year, $38,000, or $40,000 a year? No, we need bump that shit up. But again, they will never do that. They will never turn and address the billionaires. They won't do it, man. Right? Because the billionaires are the ones that are funding these people. People like this guy, the billionaires are the ones that are funding him to do what he does. So they will never turn and bite the hand that feeds them. Why would they do that?
Selling her
Help
kidney.
women.
She's not
But
selling
no,
her kidney.
hold on. But where do you draw the line, Piers? She is imperiling her future as a mom, as a worker. You just heard Sophie say
How is
she
she
was
imperiling
fired
her
from
future
her
as a mother?
job.
I don't get that.
Piers,
How does she
Piers,
imperil her
Piers.
future
She
as
is.
a mother?
Well, let me tell you how. You just heard Sophie tell you that she was fired from her job when her boss found out her OnlyFans.
Yeah.
She was fired from her job.
Yeah.
And now, with all due respect to Sophie, what are you going to tell your daughter in 10 or 15 years when all of these images
Yep,
are
I just
all
said
over
that.
the internet and your daughter is being bullied in middle school and was told that you guys were Christians? With all due respect, what do you say then? It creates a real weight, a real tension between a mom and her children, and of course, a worker and her employer. I don't want to encourage women to go on OnlyFans and then get fired from their job and then have a real fight at home about what mommy did on the internet last week.
Okay, Sophie?
I mean, I'm only 21. I haven't even thought about having kids yet. But also,
I just
think
said that.
the main discussion here is
So that's why she has the mentality that she has, because she's not thinking about that yet, right? But we will see, right? God's willing, if we live, to see her live out this, entire thing, we will see in the future she regretting all of these decisions.
sin tax, and like in the state of Florida, there is already no income tax. So, and that's also one of the main identities of Florida, is that it is a no income state tax. And I think the main issue here is you're attacking women already on the site making money.
I'm attacking men as well.
Exactly. There's multiple people on the site, and not everyone does adult content. OnlyFans is a massive platform, and you can do anything on there. Not
That is
everything
true.
is adult content
Well,
based.
I think to be fair
I know many-
to be fair to him, Sophie, he's not saying that everyone on OnlyFans should get the sin tax. He's just saying the people that he considers to be sinful should get a tax, and
Right.
you're one of them. He thinks you're a sinner. What do you say to that?
Well, syntax is, he's proposing that is going to attack everyone on the OnlyFans site. So does that include all of, the cooks on there that are just selling their
No, it
recipes?
doesn't, Sophie. No, it doesn't.
So
It's
how
called
do
a
you
sin
single
tax
it?
for a reason, girl. Come
How do you
on.
work
You
out
single
who's
it
the
out
sinner
very
and who's
simply.
not? James?
It's a
Are you gonna
sin
be
tax.
launching a
Niggas who are
sin
cooking on
purging?
OnlyFans
How are you
isn't
gonna do
committing
this?
sin.
We're going to put you in charge of it, Piers. And so
I
the
have
way
a
you do
very
it
broad
is...
mind, James. I think if
I
people
know, I'm-
people are obeying the law, they can do what they like with their own lives. What's it got to do
Well,
with you?
you know what? So what do you say then? Because prior to slavery being illegal, they were obeying their law. They owned 100 black people. Does that make it okay? Of course not. Let me
That's a good fucking point. That's a good fucking point. I ain't even gonna hold you. But again, it's a good point, but to use that as an example isn't 100% honest, because slavery and OnlyFans, bro, like the repercussions that those two events have are completely different. But again, he's trying to use it in the argument where, something being legal doesn't make it right.
get to the very specific point that I think
Why
Sophie
do you
made in
think
good
she's a
faith.
slave? No, you have of all the
But,
arguments you've used. Look,
that's
some of
called
the
an
points you've
analogy.
made. Some of the points
That's
you've
called
made
an
have validity.
analogy,
But this
Piers.
idea that somehow Sophie is some sort of slave, I'm just not buying that.
Look, Sophie may not be a slave. She hasn't made 43 million. Don't lowball her. She's made over $100 million.
Crazy.
When I talk to young women
Is
in
that
our
right,
state,
Sophie?
That is correct. Yes.
You've made over $100 million.
in a span of
Sophie-
2 years, yes.
Bro, that's fucking insane. What? Bro, again, I said this in the early part of the video. Bro, just picture what I'm about to tell you. You live in a normal ass apartment. You maybe take the bus or you have a shitty ass car. You can't afford to have, buy, groceries sometimes. Sometimes you're behind on your bills, and then you snap your finger and in 2 years you live in this $20 million mansion. You have Lambos, Rorys, McLarens, Porsches outside. You have diamond watches on. Your entire lifestyle changes in the span of 2 years, bro. $100 fucking million in bro. Oh my God.
Sophie, if you want to be my running bait and be the lieutenant governor of Florida, it'll cost you $10 million. You'd be happy to do it. I'd be honored to have you.
Sophie?
No, I don't think so.
You just gotta quit
Out
OnlyFans.
of interest, Sophie, I have to say, I mean this with no disrespect, but I'm not aware, I haven't viewed your work. What is it that makes you so popular?
I can tell you. Okay, so most women, they believe that jumping on the OnlyFans platform is going to be enough. No, you have to be good at internet marketing. And that's what Sophie is good at, bro. Like this girl at one point in time, and still is to some extent, you couldn't go on your For You page and not fucking see her face. And that's why she made the money that she made, because she was all over social media. She was very popular.
I'm just very transparent with my audience. I'm never over here encouraging people to try and join the site. I'm very clear on the pros and cons of it also, but I'm just very transparent.
So then hold on, what are the cons? Then what are the cons? What is the con? Let's be transparent. What is the con of joining?
I mean, exactly like you
OnlyFans?
said, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that OnlyFans is a great site. Some of the points you are making are correct. Like,
Perfect.
It's damaging to the future. And I want people to understand and educate themselves, but women still should be able to make that decision for themselves at the end of the day. And they shouldn't have to worry about
Sophie, if you had
I'm raising a tax to disincentivize and deter it. I'm not banning it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That is what he's doing. Sophie, if you had a daughter, would you want her to do what you're doing?
Fuck no.
I mean, I would let her decide. It's up to her decision.
No, you won't. No, you wouldn't.
I think that I would be supportive of it no matter what. Yes.
You're saying that now because you're
would you be
young.
supportive of your son selling crack cocaine?
No, that is illegal.
Right.
Okay, so why what is this difference between legal and illegal? Why can't we just say it's moral or immoral?
Because one's legal and one's
Because
not.
then where do you draw the line?
Well, I mean, okay, we can use that. And again, I'm not picking up for Sophie right now. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, right? We can use the same immoral and moral standpoint to look at, the medical companies that are out there. Everyone knew that, what happened during and I call it the scamdemic, right? We all know what I'm talking about. Bro, the majority of those, vaccines that were passing around, we all knew that they were complete BS, bro. Right? But again, companies like, AstraZeneca and these companies, they made hundreds of millions to billions of dollars, right? We all knew that what happened was completely planned. So, I mean, when you look at the stance of whether something is moral or immoral, the lines kind of get, you know what I mean? You can't run off of that example without looking at the entire thing as a whole is what I'm trying to say.
Where do you draw the line? A lot of people have different opinions.
In Afghanistan, you can marry an 8-year-old. It is quite literally legal in Afghanistan to marry.
That's fucking disgusting.
And so does that make it right, Sophie?
We don't live in Afghanistan.
Right. What are you
Sophie,
talking about?
it's an
We live in
analogy.
America.
It's an analogy. It's an analogy.
But the
It's a
analogy, it
ridiculous
doesn't make sense
analogy.
in
You're
this
choosing a
term.
country.
In
She's
this
right.
situation, it doesn't make sense.
In the United States of America, Sophie Rain.
Prior to slavery being
obeys the same
illegal,
laws that you do, James.
No, Pierce. Prior to slavery being illegal, would you have opposed slavery because it was legal? It was legal, Pierce. It's okay if it's legal, right?
Sophie?
Oh, you're asking me? I mean, I didn't live back then. I'm just here to talk about what we are here to talk about, which is
It's an analogy.
syntax,
Of
and it's a
course you didn't
selective.
live back then, Sophie. Of course you didn't. This is my issue. I'm here to have a good faith conversation with a former Florida resident, a current Florida resident. And my point to Sophie is this, is if you want to keep doing this, then we're going to take 50% of what you earn and we're going to use it to raise public school teacher pay. Our public school teachers are not getting paid enough. We're going to use this as a resource to
Perfect. Perfect. Like if that is the goal, and I wish he said this earlier, if that is the goal that he was leading with, fucking amazing. Like 100% do this. Yes. Yes. Take the money and then increase the pay of these, different public sector workers, right? But don't only leave it at the public sector workers, because not everyone wants to go to be a teacher, right? Pay should be raised right across the fucking board is all I'm trying to say.
Empowerment of young women who have signed up to do something dignified, with all due respect, unlike you, and be a public school teacher, educating, inspiring, and motivating.
Do you know what, James?
The next generation.
You know what? Here's what I would say. I've got to end this debate. Here's what I would say. I've listened to both of you, and you both made good points. But honestly, that last statement you made was so pompous and patronising. Honestly, who are you to be the great moral arbiter of what young women do with themselves legally in the United States? Who are you to say if you become governor, you're going to take half her money in a state where they don't have even state income tax? It's like there's a real arrogance to this, that you've decided you are the moral arbiter of every Floridian. And it may be why you're trailing so badly in the polls. And Sophie, the good news for you is don't worry about it, because he's not going to win. So you're not going to end up giving Mr. Fishback any money for his plans, much as it would be great to
Pierce
put more
is
money
like
into
that
teachers
fucking
in public schools.
younger
Of course it
sibling
would
that
be.
eggs
It
on
won't
the
be
two
coming
other
from you,
siblings to
Sophie Rain,
fight.
because he ain't gonna win.
Oh my
Well, if
god.
I'm not going to win, Sophie Rain can put a $5 million bet on Poly Market tonight that I'm not going to win. She'll make a lot of money. What
You
I
know
will
what?
tell you,
Actually, you know
Piers,
what?
is the same arrogance,
Sophie doesn't need the money, but I might do that so that I can become
You
as
might,
wealthy as
Piers,
Sophie
but
Rain.
the same arrogance that said that Donald Trump could never win, that Zohran Mamdani could never win, why don't you come to Florida and come to one of our rallies where we're drawing crowds larger than anyone else in this race?
Let me tell you, I was
the
the lone voice in the UK who confidently predicted Donald Trump would win in 2016. And you know why I knew he'd win? Because I'd been down interviewing serial killers in Florida, and I could feel the Trump train surging and the Hillary train hitting the buffers. So my political instinct.
And the number one reason why the Trump train was surging, and again, he spoke about this earlier. Well, two reasons, right? But the number one reason is that most people, they wanted their lives to get better. And I mean, he's like 30% of his way in his presidency, and the economy of America is still shit. It has gotten worse.
Things are very good, and I'm afraid the way the polls look at the moment, James Fishback, to quote my favourite phrase, you have two hopes, no hope and Bob hope. But miracles can happen in politics, and I wish you all the best. Sophie Rain, thank you very much indeed for joining me. I wish you continued success. I think women should better do what they want with themselves, as long as it's within the confines of the law. And so should you, James.
We're going to change the law, and we are going to change the law, Pierce.
Well, we'll see about that. If you win, you can try.
If I win, Sophie Rain's going to owe me $50 million, and I'm going to raise teacher pay all over the state. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to proudly do it, because in Florida, we don't let our women be exploited by OnlyFans degeneracy. We inspire them to be something more. And Sophie, there's still more time. There's still time left for you to quit OnlyFans and do something dignified. I say that with love. I've never attacked you personally. I truly want what's best for you and your family.
Sophie, let me answer that, because I think one of you will be quitting this year, their current job, and it won't be you, and it won't be me. I've got to leave it there. Thank you. Well, James, I've given you a good argument. You know what? Some of the points you made were perfectly valid points. I don't think I would want my daughter, for example, to be doing what Sophie's doing.
But that's fine, Pierce. So then why can't you just say that without disparaging our supporters?
Yeah, but,
why can't you just say that without disparaging our supporters?
You don't have many supporters.
I don't. Well, who were the 500 people at the University of Florida last week, the largest political event in a decade since Hillary Clinton ran for president?
Let me bet. I'll bet you.
Piers, you're 3,000 miles away disparaging our supporters, hardworking people.
I have a home in the United States. I'm there all the time. I've worked and lived there for 20 years. So don't be patronising to me too. You've already been patronising enough to Sophie.
All right. Are they going to be talking more about the thing, or is he just going to get on? Okay, yeah. So that's basically it for Piers Morgan's video. But yeah, man, if it is that he's going to be taxing these girls to give up 50% of their, earnings on OnlyFans to then fund, programs for teachers and things like that to, raise the pay of teachers, all power to him, right? But what's more than likely going to happen is that when it does happen, the people who are in the OF industry and are making a lot of money from it, they'll just move. They'll just move. Vegas is available, right? They'll just move to Vegas, right? So, fucking Puerto Rico is available. They'll just move to Puerto Rico. So I mean, they will listen. What I'm trying to say is people who have always made a lot of money, they will always find a way to get away with not paying that much income tax at the end of the year. But anyways, man, this is it for this video. If you guys like my talking points, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this entire situation, because I would love to know what most people are thinking about this, right? Because for me, I think that the reason why most women are going down this path is because that, bro, the economy is complete. The economy is clapped right now, bro. Right? The job market is the most competitive that it has been in a long while. Jobs aren't even paying that fucking much, right? So of course people are going to be looking for ways to, not, be coerced in the labor market that isn't even going to, afford them the luxury of buying a house, right? Because millennials are going to have a very difficult time buying a house, at the age of 40, 50 years old, whatever the case may be, right? So that's my entire thing. I don't believe that these people should be worth 500, 700, 400, 300 billion fucking dollars, bro. Like, no, at a certain, you see, the same way how he's talking that we should be taxing these OnlyFans girls is the same way how we should be taxing some of these billionaires once they pass a certain threshold, right? Once you pass a certain threshold as a billionaire, you should be taxed, bro. Like, no, bro, $1 billion is fucking enough. You don't need 2.5. You don't need 4.5. You don't need 5. You don't need 10 billion. Bro, your life at $1 billion in comparison to your life at 10 billion isn't that fucking different. Like what? You want to buy 2 more private jets? You know what I mean? It's not different. So that's just my entire thoughts on this entire thing, man. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out.